learning about agencies and stuff for the past like month. And the main problem I have right now is I'm still trying to figure out what niche to go into, but the niche I'm most passionate about seems a bit saturated. So um, I guess my question would be, when deciding what area to go into, like how important is number one, your actual interest in the niche? And then should I just genuinely not look for something that is as saturated?
Um, I think your interest is really important. Otherwise, like, why would you be interested? Why would you be wanting to do whatever you're doing? If you didn't have any interest, it would be purely for money. And I think that then you would start to hate yourself after a while. Um, what's the niche?
So it's clothing brands, but the thing is, like offering Facebook ads for like a e-commerce brand, I feel like it's super saturated, so it wouldn't really work. So I've thought about maybe like changing the angle a bit and offering um like working on their emails as an example, and then the offer would be like um I know you get loads of agencies reaching out to you to do Facebook ads for you, but we would actually love to do your emails because there's unreached potential there. And then the guarantee would be we work with you to help you generate an extra 20% income a month, for example. And if that doesn't happen, you don't pay us, as an example. That's what I was thinking about, but I'm not too sure yet. I'm pretty new to all of this.
When you say the niche is, when you say you think it's saturated, like what are you basing that off of? Like, have you gone to the market and tested and done outreach?
Yeah, I've sent to fashion brands in general. I've sent about um 250 to 300 emails, and so far I've gotten three positive responses and one discovery call, but I ended up getting ghosted. And I think that was my fault as well because in the email I used the case study that I had from one of my old contractors, but she started asking me a bit more about, previous case studies, previous experience, and I didn't really have anything to answer for it, so I ended up getting ghosted. And yeah, I feel I don't know if like 250 to 300 emails is enough, but so far I've only had about three responses. So it just felt like I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And then also I'm in a lot of Facebook groups with agency owners and stuff, and the general thing I keep seeing is everybody's doing Facebook ads for e-com brands.
Yeah.
So that's the
Yeah.
feeling
The Facebook ads, like as a platform to master for an ad agency right now, is not the best, just because of the whole iOS stuff and everything going on, and it's also just quite competitive in general. However, if you were to apply it to somewhat of a blue ocean market, like it's still applicable and it's still fine. It's kind of like Google AdWords, and how Google AdWords has been around the longest, and yet there is still Google AdWord agencies popping up and going from 0 to 7 figures in 2-3 years. And it's like, well, how is that possible? I mean, there's many different ways. One is they just found a niche market. Like, a good example is like private companies that sell really expensive industrial equipment, more than like $10,000, per machine or whatever. There's tons of these types of companies in Canada, where I'm from, and they sell like massive generators or massive pieces of equipment or like tractors or whatever, and they have no digital presence whatsoever. And there's not many people bidding on keywords for like, whatever this specific generator is. And so you can probably get them really good results. So there's lots of stuff like that and opportunities where you can take a really saturated platform, but apply it to a somewhat blue ocean market. It's just not everybody's really passionate about tractors and like machinery equipment. But in my opinion, if you take it from like a long-term perspective and you think, okay, you know what, I'm going to find some really super weird, like niche market and just do Google AdWords, if you just love marketing in general, you shouldn't really care what type of company it is that you're working with. If it's like, a ballet studio or like whatever it is, you're still learning marketing. So Google AdWords, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, like it doesn't really matter what you pick as long as you enjoy it. I would say for the best in terms of just like least saturation, YouTube ads and Amazon advertising is probably the two biggest platforms with the least amount of saturation at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great answer. Yeah, I still have loads of thinking to do. I just watched the YouTube video that you just released a couple minutes ago, I think, and that was also very interesting. So yeah, I'm just gonna take that advice and try to look into YouTube ads. And
Also, sorry, real quick, 1% response rate, like that's totally fine. Like a
oh,
1% call booking rate on outbound, I would say even a 0.5% call booking rate on outbound for the niche for like clothing brands, Facebook ads is probably standard. So
okay,
maybe if you get to 1,000, you'll get 5 to 10 discovery calls. You know what I mean?
yeah. So
Totally
maybe I
fine.
should just increase output then.
You can increase outbound, yeah, 100%. But like you also have to keep in mind that in a blue ocean, you can get a 10% call booking rate.
Yeah,
So like, do you want to go down this road of like this really competitive market where it's a 0.5 average call booking rate with a really good cold outreach approach? Or do you want to just like try to find a more niche market? I don't know. There's pros and cons. It's obviously harder to find a niche market with a higher call booking rate than it is to hop into an easier one that everybody's in, that you can get discovery calls for. So, yeah.
Okay, and then do you think if I kept the same, still working with like fashion brands, for example, but instead of offering Facebook ads, I would change it to something like YouTube ads, would that change the outcome?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, you got to think. Oh, sorry, hold on. There's a bunch of people in the YouTube chat saying they can't hear me. I'm like, we are in a Zoom call. Possibly. Here's why. Because if they're not doing it, they'll be like, oh, YouTube ads. I haven't done that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whereas Facebook ads, if they've done it before or they've tried doing Facebook ads with another agency and it didn't work and they have this negative connotation with Facebook ads, well, that's obviously going to make it harder to break into the market. So, yeah.
yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, dude, let me know if you have anything else.
Yep.
Beris, you are next, friend. I have unmuted you.
Hey Taylor, what's up, brother? How you doing?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. Do you have no video? Do I not get to see your face? It's okay if you're shy.
It's not like I'm shy. I'm not in the right environment, to be honest. It's night over here right now. I'm in India. Uh,
Okay.
Fully based in Vancouver, Canada. Came back to do COVID and stay here. But yeah, anyways, my question is basically, so I've been helping. I'm just following up. I'm having a follow up question about what he was saying regarding market and offer. So I am doing around $4,000 to $7,000 a month. It just depends. I mean, because I'm just working alone, you can say as well, or just having one or two freelancers working under me. So the main issue that majorly I'm facing is like so I joined one of the programs that cost around 6,000 around dollars. I joined him. You may probably know him. Like his company name is Executive Advantage. He's from Canada.
Oh yeah,
Mainly,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've met Mitch.
yeah, so he's a great guy, but I mean, just regarding the results and all of that, is like streamline the process, like one market, one offer. That totally makes sense. But when I go down the road where I look like which market to pick and all, like the two major markets is just like I can't decide any. I mean, apart from these two, that is e-com brands or just business coaches. I mean, none of the other people just seems like, oh, this would work, I mean, for me or anyone, like just trying to streamline the process. So I did that just for the case. So I chose like, because I love to build like funnels, getting like setting up emails and all of that, just to, because I've helped a few people running the virtual event, high ticket paid virtual events. So I just decided to do a business coaches, selling them like virtual high ticket programs. But most of them like are so annoyed by all of these, like even the Loom videos. I thought like this is something new approach that I followed uh, from you, and then from the Mitch as well, that share it, like sending a personalized video. So it was taking like 5 6 hours a day, I mean, to edit them, all of them, 20 30 videos per day, and shooting them out.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, but yeah, I know it's a grind. So I was doing it, and just it just so over I'm just so overwhelmed that I have to send the videos, then get on discovery calls as well, then sales calls, and just do the entire work. So it's like a loop, like whole day work. So I like to, like when it's 33,000, I mean 3,000, $4,000 a month, it's kind of like feels good. But when I scale, it's like I let's take anybody. I mean, if somebody want just a website or funnel, let's just do it for 2,000. Because when I'm doing it, I'm on a call with business coaches. They say, or even on the discovery call, what is your process? Like, just tell me upfront if this is a sales call you want to sell me at the end. So just like they're just, a lot of people are not even replying back, but majorly like the offer is also new, but it's like too saturated. Like people have been messaging them whole year. Like some, like I was on a call yesterday, and she said that I've got like around 30 40 message related that I can get 15 to 20 clients a month. And that's just like, so I also feel like I'm cheating because Mitch and all of these people, I'm not referring to Mitch, but most of these like have a done with you program where they can just scale it up, and people are like for me, I'm taking the everything on me that I have to do the work. But when it's for like done for you, and you have to provide the services, and you have to generate the results as well. So you have to be in the game. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the question out of all that? I got good context on where you're at.
Yeah. So the question is like, I can't see like any market other than business coaches or e-com, because that's all you see on the YouTube. Once you just click on any video, then the YouTube start recommending. So my issue is whenever I try to, I mean, regenerate like what's my one market, one niche, so that it can be good and I can generate results for them without changing the exact like a completely new offer, because it's like I'm not sure if I create a new offer is going to work for them or not. So I'm just in that process. Like even if I choose a market, I'm not sure if I can provide them with the results, so I can charge a higher price for that.
Okay, but what's the question?
I mean, like how, like if you can share the process, like how do you choose the niche, if that's
Yeah.
sort of like, and then because of the saturation, I mean, a lot of people are already bombarded with the messages and all of that.
I mean, so you said a lot, and like there's a few things I picked up on when you were talking about looking for a niche. You said that, I think you said you kind of go to YouTube, and a lot of the stuff that comes up is like e-com and helping business owners, right? Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whenever you go to YouTube, you're gonna find what the saturation is. Like you're gonna find like whatever everybody is talking about is, obviously what everybody else is doing. So you kind of want to just like zig when everybody else is zagging. The whole Zig Ziglar quote. It's a good mental model. I was just talking to, I think it was, I forget who it was in the previous. Now there's a lot of people in the Zoom call, but like
Abdi. Yeah.
you should find something that nobody's fucking talking about. I had a guy reach out to me the other day, really good. This is a good example. Okay. He says, I want to partner with you, whatever, help me scale this agency. He is helping people that sell private jets to increase the conversion rate of like selling a jet. I was kind of just like, okay, well, how expensive are these jets? Like whatever, 10, $20 million plus. I was like, what do you do? And he's like, dude, I just walk through with a 360 camera and allow the website to have like the ability to click through the jet. So you can like, kind of like you're in it. All the other websites are so shit. They have like these terrible photos and it sucks. I was like, is that all you do? He's like, yeah. And I was like, well, how many private jet companies are there like that you could sell to? And I don't know, I think he did the math as like 50 or maybe like 100 in the United States. that's a little niche. Like you want to go and find some shit that like nobody's even talking about, and then you don't really want to talk about it, honestly. So I can't really tell you how to do that other than just surveying the market and just doing whatever anybody else is not talking about. So you know what I mean? Like it's really just zig when everybody else is zagging. If it was easy to identify good markets that are blue oceans, you would be like super rich, because doing cold outreach is the easiest fucking thing on earth. You send a Loom video. Like how much skill does it take to send a Loom video? Seriously, like to like go and be like, hey, I can help you with Facebook ads. Like I could pay somebody $3 an hour to do that. I could do that. I've done it. Like it's anybody could do it. But to identify a good blue ocean, that's difficult. And there's no real amazing training on how to do it, really. It's just like brainstorm, constantly brain dump ideas. Like search all the different markets in the entire world, like go through and like try to find weird niches that you can then pop into and test 500 outreaches very quickly. This is why I've also thought about like if you know how to do outreach, cool, that's great. And then it's another level if you can do it at scale. So if you can build a team to obviously make the Loom videos or send the cold emails, whatever it is, great. So your ideal like niche hunting thing would be like a team to do the outreach. They can send like 500 outreaches in about 1 week. And then all you have to do is identify the market. So you identify this little market and you're like, hey, this is the market. Here's the ICP. Go send 500. Let me know what the call book rate is. I'll do the calls, whatever, and like, etc. Because it's obviously time consuming to do that. But hopefully that gives you some help. Oh, I think you were muted. Let me unmute you again. Sorry.
Oh yeah, for sure. That like clears up a lot of things that you just brainstorm and choose different niche. And example that you gave, like the just follow up question regarding that is, for example, if I found like this is the niche I can target to, but the skills that I have, like how I can relate that, they will definitely see the results that I'm promising to them, quote unquote promising to them, or like I have to create a hypothesis that it will work, and I have to be like convicted that they will get the result, and I have to be like upfront about it on the call. Like, what's your take on that? What do you think about that?
In terms of like signing clients in markets that you have no results in, like how do you deal with that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just be very, well, here's the thing. Like if you have marketing experience in general, you can leverage that. Like if you've gotten results for, I don't know, you're doing 4 to 7K a month, whatever. You probably have some marketing experience or whatever it is that you have. If that experience is applicable to any industry, which normally it is, then you can just say that. And you can say, hey, look, I've been doing marketing for 2-3 years. I've worked with in these sectors. I haven't worked in the private jet sector before, but what I know is applicable to any sector, and it's fundamental. I would be fully transparent and tell them that, but like also tell them that this is how many years experience I have in marketing, and here's why I'm extremely confident that this is going to work for you. No other jet companies have like this, blah, 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 blah. And just like, explain why, because it's oftentimes it's also pretty easy to like break something down simply and explain to them why it's better if they do this, which you can help with them in a service. Like when we talk to a client about Amazon advertising, there's tons of other agencies out there doing Amazon advertising management. But like when we hop on a sales call with them and they're already working with an agency and they're thinking of switching agencies, and they're like, why should we switch agencies with you? Like, we'll just be like, well, let me share a screen. Let me search these 20 different keywords that we already identified in the audit prior to you coming on this call. I mean, your agency is doing a pretty poor job. And if we were to bid on all these keywords, we would see probably X amount in sales increase. So it's pretty easy to kind of logically explain things, but leveraging your experience, if it's applicable to any market, obviously helps. If you have no experience in marketing, like 2 months experience in marketing, no results at anybody, you've never worked with anybody, I mean, at that stage, I just recommend to people that like, you just tell them like, look, I'm new. You don't even have to pay me. I'm just happy to prove results. And if I get you results, you can pay me maybe $1,000 a month. You got to get experience somehow. So yeah.
Makes sense. Definitely. Oh, thanks a lot, Taylor, for that.
Cool.
Really appreciate it.
Sweet. Adrian, what up? I think we spoke a while ago. Do you have a question? We got 2 humans on this Zoom call with video on. That's beautiful. If you guys have any questions, put in the chat. Adrian, it looks like you're trying to say something. I'll unmute you.
Hey Taylor,
How you doing?
how is going, man? It's going well. Yeah, we spoke a while back, and I've just seen. I was actually working. I've seen the live on YouTube, and I was like, okay, I should jump on this Zoom. Uh, it's been pretty wild. Like it changed a lot. We're almost hitting 10K MRR, and
Cool.
since we spoke, I had a few months that we didn't receive any meetings. It was kind of a dead period. We couldn't get any leads in the door anymore. But now it's like we completely changed the process of outreaching. We started to do more like I took your advice and I started to do a lot of content marketing. Why? Because I was thinking, like you said, like why would you wait until you have a certain amount of clients when you can actually start from now? And this one is gonna be a compound effect later.
Yeah.
So I started like posting heavy on LinkedIn, and I can see like I had already like a few people reaching out to me to direct messages. I was like, wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. And trying to focus more on inbound, but still doing like heavy outbound as much as possible because we are still at not that big level to focus like 90% on inbound and just let outbound on the side.
Yeah, sweet. I talk about, for anybody who, because obviously nobody here has context, but if I remember correctly, yeah, you were going outbound, and then I was like, hey, you should do inbound as well. But for anybody on this call, like, if you're doing outbound, great. You should also do inbound. But the number one thing that I think everybody should learn as an agency owner is like the ability to source ICPs, ideal client profiles, and just build a team in the Philippines that can do it and have them do it 24/7 every day for the rest of your life, and run the leads into a CRM or a Google Sheet. We have a Google Sheet, and then build, you leverage automations like Meet Alfred or these automations to like connect with them on social, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever that is, and then just put out content. I actually like that more than fucking sending looms, because there's so many people sending looms that if you're not in a blue ocean, it's just going to suck, and you're going to kill the ability to build the relationship with somebody. So if you're in somewhat of a saturated market, yeah, it's better to do that and then just go to long game content, because it's the antithesis of what everybody else is doing. So you should zig when everybody zags. So that's sweet, dude. That's been working out, and hopefully, yeah, you guys can scale up even further.
Yeah, we just changed a little bit the outreach process, as I already mentioned, because there were some certain things that weren't working. We analyzed the data, analyzed the campaigns, everything, and we kind of went more to personalization, trying different tools that are doing everything automated. And right now, in middle of February, we're gonna start working in a partnership with another lead gen agency. We pay them like 1.5K upfront, and it's gonna be like $100 per meeting to see if those guys can get. They said their average is like 16 qualified meetings per month, and if they can get us 16 meetings a month, that's gonna be awesome. Because from 16 we can close at least like 3-4 meetings.
Very curious to see how that goes. Like,
yeah,
very curious. Let me know.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've always been nervous to go and hire a lead gen agency, and but
I've
I'm curious.
also, sorry, keep going.
No, good, dude. I'm done.
Oh, I was just saying that I also had the same thought as you have right now, because I didn't know exactly how that's gonna turn out. But I also thought, like, if I'm not that good at outreach, why shouldn't I let somebody else who's their expertise in this field, like getting me meetings? As long as I'm closing clients, I know I can get results, because my partner works more on the on the operational side of the business, like getting clients, and I'm the one who's making sure we're gonna keep those clients. And our churn rate so far, like we didn't have that many, but like we didn't lose any clients so far. So all of them are happy. We got results for all of them.
Wait, that's amazing, dude. Is there anything I can help you with today?
Yeah,
Question?
actually, definitely. Actually, I'm really curious to see your like insights on hiring people, man. Like this is one of the biggest things that I'm kind of scared about, because I feel like we're gonna get sooner than I can imagine at that level, and I'm gonna need another because I know my limits. Because I was working, as I told you in the last call, I was working before on the agency side as a performance marketer, and there I know that I had 10 accounts, like 10 Facebook accounts, getting results for those people. I had a few accounts on the side for TikTok advertising, but that was not like I was not managing too heavy that one because it was like still in the beginning at that time. But I know that my limit is like I cannot get more than 10 accounts because otherwise the quality of my work is gonna decrease massively. If I'm getting more, like if I'm managing more than 10 accounts at a time. So once I'm getting there, I'm kind of capped. And how would I go around like hiring people? And also I'm like kind of, because I'm thinking when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about hiring people, and I want another media buyer or paid social buyer that kind of uses the same processes I'm using it, like the strategy and the process inside those accounts. So I can get in there and help him, because otherwise if he's using a completely different process, it's gonna be a total mess. So this is what I'm thinking. I don't know if it's just in my mind, but I want to see your input on this one.
Okay, so the question is, you're close to reaching your management capacity and you need to hire somebody, and you're wondering how to go about
Yeah.
hiring.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. My first thought was kind of sarcastic. Don't fuck it up. But yeah, that's not good advice at all. Yeah, dude, you're crossing that bridge, right? Where it's like you're kind of, I guess you have a partner, so you have whatever. It's not
Yes.
like you're solo, but like still, you guys are crossing the bridge of now like building a team, and that's where things get really exciting. But it's like the first 5 to 10 hires are probably the most important hires you can possibly make, and that'll determine whether you scale quickly to 7 figures or not, in my opinion. So there's 2 options. One, you can hire somebody with no experience that has a general curiosity for marketing and would like to just learn marketing and kind of take an internship under you. Obviously, that's very cost effective, and it's slower to train them because they have no experience.
Right.
Then you can go down the more expensive route, hire somebody with maybe 1 to 2 years experience and bring them on, and it'll be a little bit easier for you to train them. But the negative second order consequences that come with that is that they have preconceived ideas of how to do this and how to do that. And if they're not very open-minded and coachable, you'll have tons of issues down the road because they want to do certain things certain ways, and it'll cause conflict and friction. So whoever you're going to hire, if you go down the route of hiring somebody with existing experience, probably the number one thing you can vet for is like coachability, open-mindedness, humble, like, right? Like these things. I wouldn't recommend that you hire like a genius level person that's like, I don't know, like, 5 years experience or something like this with a salary that's probably ridiculous, because you shouldn't do that at this stage, given like where your MRR is at. So yeah, 1 to 2 years experience or no experience, maybe like 2 or 3 months experience in the industry, or they're down for, they just graduated university and they'll take, a role with you. So I would probably err on the side of intern if I was you, to be honest, just because if you're not if you're maxed out at capacity right now and you're like, holy shit, this is crazy, I need to hire somebody immediately, bite the bullet and like hire somebody with like maybe a year of experience who that's going to be a little bit easier to train on, because that'll cut the ramp up time down significantly. But if you're not there yet, cool, go and hire an intern immediately and start training them and have them shadow you. You don't need to build some fancy training program and all this systems. Just fucking throw them on a Zoom call with you, share screen, and be like, this is what I'm doing, record it, and then you have the recordings for the next person.
I actually thought about this one because I really want to get somebody who's like hungry for knowledge, because I feel like that's a super underrated skill, like to be hungry for knowledge. That's amazing. And I can train him, because that's why I'm thinking like if he's using the same process that I'm using and like kind of the same structure and everything, it's gonna be so clean afterwards when we get on board the third and the fourth person. And having having the entire team using the same process in those accounts and getting the results the same way, it's gonna be so easy for each other to look and for help and like share knowledge and everything, learnings.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's super important. You can do, in Agency Enlightened, we recommend to people that they use Clifton Strengths Finder 34, which is a good thing to understand their strengths. Learner is a really good one. I'm like my second best strength is learning. I like that, especially if you're going to go and hire an intern. I think learning would be one that's great. Another really good test that I would recommend is Kobe, which is one that kind of gives you a good understanding of how their modus operandi is, like how they operate, how they take action. You kind of want somebody that's a quick start, in my opinion. If you don't have a quick start, this is just the terminology they use in Kobe. Quick start basically means somebody that can like just hop into something and start taking action. They don't need to like fully understand everything before, like kind of like me. I'm like, I want to understand everything. Otherwise I'll get like paralysis by overanalysis type thing. And quick starts we found are the best account managers because you have to manage multiple accounts. So you're going to have to communicate with multiple different clients. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 10 different clients. And somebody that's not a quick start struggles with this tremendously. And we've noticed it in our agency. So we're not going to hire somebody unless they're like a really good quick start for managing 5 to 10 accounts, because the people that aren't innately struggle with it. It's just not in their DNA. But the people that aren't really good at managing 5 to 10, they're not like good quick starts, but they're like really good at just like focus and working on one thing. You can throw them on an enterprise account that has like a $20,000 retainer and they'll just crush it. So it balances out, but yeah.
But how do you find out if somebody has that good quick start before
you take the Kobe test? It's called Kobe. It's KOLBE. I just sent it in the chat. And then the other one is the Clifton Strength. So anybody we hire has to take these 2 tests. So yeah.
Gonna do a bit more research about that. Didn't know. Thanks a lot.
Sure. Any other questions?
No, that was it, man. That was
Sweet,
really helpful.
dude. I'm stoked that you're scaling. All right, much love.
Thanks a lot. Yes. Take care.
George, actually, sorry, Dan has a question. Let's see, Pedro. How many appointments are you getting per week per account? Maybe that was a question for Adrian. I think Adrian, maybe you can respond to him. Dan Firestone. What are some things you just reprogram your mind, subliminal beliefs? Dan, you are unmuted if you would like to be friend. Otherwise, I can answer this.
Hey man, from Tokyo. Just want to say, been following your channel for a while.
Cool.
Great content. Yeah, so just curious. I think like a lot of us struggle from limiting beliefs, even as you do climb the ladder of success. And just curious, like as you get higher and higher, what are some like limiting beliefs that you have developed even as you like attain different levels of success, and what are some things that you sort of do to try and catch yourself from maybe forming certain limiting beliefs?
Myself personally?
Yes.
You had a couple questions. One, what are some limiting beliefs that I've developed as I've gotten more successful? And then 2,
yeah, like have there been certain beliefs that you sort of didn't serve you and you had to get rid of? And just curious, like what process you went through to get rid of those?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is like awareness of the beliefs. I think a lot of people are unconscious that they don't even know that they have these beliefs. So step number 1 is always awareness. How do you gain awareness of false beliefs that are limiting you from achieving, your ultimate dream life? I would say that meditation is probably one of the best things you can do, because it really just forces you to just fucking sit there and do nothing and think of nothing. And when you sit there and do nothing, and you're just kind of aware of the thoughts, so you're just like seeing the thoughts pass by, now you have the observer awareness that gives you the ability to like observe and like see what is going on. So yeah, I think that's probably the number 1 thing you can do to gain the awareness of the limiting beliefs. When I see a limiting belief that I have, it's usually pretty obvious just because I've been meditating for a long time. So I don't know, I'm trying to think back to I can tell you more recent ones just because a long time ago I don't remember all of them. But
Yeah, no, that's fine.
more recent ones is that I moved to this place in the interior of Panama, like 5-6 hours away from the city, and it's a pretty remote place. It's on the beach. It's right next to this like co-work space. There's a lot of people that come in and out for like traveling because it's somewhat of a vacation destination. And I noticed I had my Better AMS shirt on, my Better AMS hat, and I was walking outside, and I had this insecurity of like, ooh, I'm wearing like 2 pieces of clothing that have like my brand name on it, and this is a bit much. Whereas in the city, I had no issue with it because everybody in the city is like working or whatever. And I thought to myself, like, why do I have this belief that like it's clearly an insecurity and fear of being judged for wearing, 2 pieces of like clothing that have the same brand name on it or something like this. So yeah, I became aware of that limiting belief, and then just like the way I try to just get rid of it is now I'll just fucking go outside and wear like 4 pieces of Better AMS clothing and just like deal with the uncomfortableness that comes with it, and then meditate on the idea that like, letting go of fear of judgment for whatever, if I'm wearing clothes or something like this. So becoming aware of it, I think, is great. And then doing it, if you can do it, and like allowing you to feel those uncomfortable sensations and just allowing them to rise up, and then just continuing to meditate on letting them go, and trying to let go of any beliefs that or past experiences that may have caused you to feel like this. Because typically, like, why would I feel like that? Maybe it stems from just insecurities from school, where maybe I went to school and some kid made fun of some clothes that I was wearing or something like this. You know what I mean? Like, there's always like a reason or some weird thing that happened in your childhood that would make you feel like this. So just trying to let go of it.
Cool. So Better AMS underwear on the way then.
Yeah, dude, I got to get like all the Better AMS stuff just to battle through this one. But no, I feel a little bit better of it now. Just like meditating on it for a few days and just letting go of it.
Cool. Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Cool, dude. No worries. What else we got? Kobe, I have a question regarding if we should focus on more clients at lower price point, fewer clients at higher price. George, you are unmuted.
Oh, hey, what's going on, Taylor?
Hello, friend.
Hey, yeah, so my agency does web design, web development, and our average pricing is between like 2,000 to 4,000. And
Okay.
so I'm wondering if we should scale by just doing a lot more of that, or if we should try to go into like the bigger projects, maybe 10, 20, 30,000 and above.
I think you should do both. I think you should be definitely shooting for, I think you should always be striving to get bigger projects and bigger deals, because as the agency scales, the only way to maintain healthy margins is to have higher price points with like, bigger deals sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're doing a lot of 2 to 4K projects, cool. I would totally just continue to try to get more projects that you could charge 5, 10, 15, 25,000 eventually, hopefully 6-figure deals.
Do you have like a preference on like what type, like if you were to go after one more, and the reason I ask is because I see some web design agencies that that's pretty much all they do is like web design under 5,000, and then I see, and they scaled up really big, multi-million-dollar, and then there are other multi-million-dollar that only do like 50K plus. And so I'm trying to figure out like how to do both, or if I should really, or if one might be slightly better than the other, or do you think it's just good to just be able to service both?
Well, I don't know the service as well. Is it really different, like a $25,000 project versus a $5,000 project?
A little bit. So, a lot more goes into it. Like the more expensive it is, the more custom icons and just like a bunch of little things like that, and various QA testing, web accessibility. Like there's a lot of things you can add on top as you go up the higher price levels. So it is a little bit different.
A little bit, but it's not like black and white.
Yeah, overall, it's the same process. You're basically just adding line items, I would say.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, because it's that, and because it does, this is again, me just kind of assuming based on the limited data you've given me, but if it's a little bit different, I would totally go for it. I think that, lots of companies have multiple buyer personas. I think it's good to stick with one in the beginning and really try to scale your agency up to a certain level to where, you know, you can then have the resources to go after bigger projects and things like this.
Yeah.
But where are you guys at right now in terms of monthly revenue on average? And
Yeah, we're about like 10 to 12K per month. We're pretty new.
okay, so how long you been around for?
About a year.
And how do you guys get clients right now?
Some referrals, Upwork, UpCity, which is like a directory for web designers, and through our blog.
Which one's the number one source?
Our blog, however, our blog, since we've been targeting like home service contractors, has actually been producing like pretty low budget projects. The better projects probably from UpCity, which is just like a common web design directory.
Cool. Is there more directories like UpCity?
There are, yeah, I just haven't even got time to get into them. Yeah, I know Clutch, I think, might be even bigger. Just haven't really had the time to exploit those.
Well, I would totally start there.
Yeah.
You know, and just expand like your presence onto all the different platforms that there are. If that's your number one, that's really low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's really nice if you can, you know, if your marketing will naturally bring in a wide range of different projects. Like when we do our content marketing on LinkedIn for client acquisition, it on average brings in a lot of $3,000 to $5,000 per month deals, but maybe once every 4 to 5, 6 months, there's somebody comes through that's like an $8,000 per month deal. Maybe once a year, somebody comes through at like 10 to 20, maybe $25,000 per month potential deals. And so it sounds like with what you're doing, I don't know about UpCity if there's deals that come through with 20, 25,000 or 50,000 or whatever like this, but yeah, I would totally just be open to it. I don't think there's any reason why you shouldn't be open to it, you know?
Cool. Yeah, my only fear, I guess, that I've had, and I don't know if this is even valid, but my only thing has been like, if we do the low budget projects, then the bigger companies might think, oh, they're just like a low budget web designer. And likewise, if we advertise doing the big projects, then the smaller companies might be afraid that they can't afford us.
What's your website?
Scalebloom.com. It's
Bloom.com.
yeah.
I'm just really curious to see how you've presented yourself. Well, let's see. Think big, smart way to scale your business, high performance. Cool. I wouldn't be concerned about what you just said, honestly, at all.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, I wouldn't be concerned. Although I do say, like, when I come here, it's very general, right? Like you are, like it's clear that I feel like when I hit this landing page, that yeah, you're probably servicing like anybody. Like it could be anybody.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
have you ever seen web design agencies that are like they're a little bit more like niche specifically like for your e-com brand or whatever
Yeah. Yeah.
type thing. So I don't know, like you guys might hit a point where you get to like $25,000 per month and you're doing well with getting like websites, you know, deals of $2,000 to $5,000 per month. And if you're struggling to get $25,000, $50,000 per month deals or project deals, maybe it's because of this, but I still wouldn't, I don't know. I wouldn't say that's the case. If you have a good blog and you put out a lot of good blog content on how to make a really high converting e-com website or different things you can build and people come through that, your homepage doesn't really matter. Like
Right.
it doesn't matter. They're like, oh, I saw that really good article and it gave me a lot of good insights and I want to hire you guys. And I don't think it'll matter what this looks like.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
All right, dude, much love.
Thanks.
Everybody, give me 1 sec. Let's see. So we got Pedro, Adrian, George. Question, Adrian, what do you mean? Hey, Bruce, e-commerce. Looks like there's just a lot of chats going amongst friends. Does anybody have any questions? Pedro? Sorry, I must have missed it in the chat.
No, that's okay. I didn't put anything there, so. Yeah, man, I just wanted to ask you, like, how do you mainly, I guess, deal with, I guess, burnout or managing yourself in terms of managing your team? Like, I guess to give you a little bit of context, maybe, I mean, for me, maybe it's because, I mean, I just got so ingrained in a specific routine that it I don't know, it becomes like, you just burn out. And I mean, I'm at a point where, I mean, I'm right now an example for my team, so I can't exactly, be slacking off or burning out or not doing the work. So, but you notice there that, I mean, it's like your troughs, so I'm kind of asking how are you managing your troughs?
What was the word
Because
you
that's-
used? How do you manage your trust?
No, troughs. So like your ups and
Troughs.
downs.
Got it. Yeah, troughs.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So like, for example, I mean, you'll notice that, I mean, you'll just get like mentally tired, and you'll notice that on the sales calls, and like your conversion will go down. And when that happens, you'll notice like your team's performance, like coincidentally, it also goes down. And like a whole bunch of other shit starts to goes down. Not that much, but it's like, okay, it's happening enough times. Okay, now it's a problem. I need to figure it out. But you're not in a, I guess, state of mind where you like know exactly, like you can't identify the problem exactly. So it's like, I mean, I'm like kind of at that point. So it's in terms of just, I guess, managing myself, because you start to notice you just start to make a lot of mistakes. Maybe I'm just pushing myself too hard. So I just wanted to, see what your take on it was. Have you ever like dealt with that, or like anybody else here?
Yeah, I've burned out like dozens of times, probably. Not dozens, actually, a dozen probably. Well, how big's the team? Like, what's your revenue like? How big's the team? Sorry, you were muted. Let me unmute you again. You there?
Yeah. So I mean, we're about 80K revenue per month.
Mhm.
And I mean, I'm just the sales team is 4 people right now.
So you're managing 4 people.
Yeah.
Are you also doing sales calls right now?
Yep.
Are you spending a lot of time doing sales calls?
No, I'm spending more time just setting appointments rather than sales calls. I take about 2 to 3 sales calls a day.
What's burning you out?
Just, man, I guess managing everything. The sales calls, not so much. No, I mean, yeah, it's probably like 50-50 sales calls, and I guess just like keeping track of everything, the team, the performance, how to like set appointments. I mean, they're like appointment setters and closers as well. So yeah, it's basically keeping track of everything, sales calls, and like the entire team, their performance and everything.
Doing sales calls and keeping track of the team is what's burning you out. Do you take days off?
Usually just Sundays.
Yeah. And do you take vacations?
No, not really.
When was the last time you took like a week off?
Man, a week. Fuck, I don't know, 2019 probably. Do you recommend me take a week off?
I recommend you take a week off if you're burned out. And I recommend you do it because it also forces you to think like, fuck, if I can't take a week off, I got to figure the shit out so I can take a week off, right?
Good point.
And that's the thing, is it's like, why haven't you taken a week off? What's the belief? Like,
Good question, man. I guess, why I just I get it. I like reaching the goals. So it's like I have this goal by the end of the year. So it's like, fuck, I got to do this. Like, I guess I just like doing that, And so it's like, maybe it's guilt, you know, because sometimes it happens to me, you know, I'll go watch a movie or be like, okay, I'm gonna do this work and I don't want to do it, and I'll do this work and then I'll reward myself. I'll go watch a movie or something, and then I do it and I get really into it and I'm like, fuck, I'm into it. I might as well just go 3 more hours, and then it's like, you know, yeah, I don't know if that's happened to you, but it's kind of like, you know, you don't really want to take it off, but then, you know, burnout happens or whatever. And you kind of feel guilty even when you go and watch a movie. It's just like, shit, I should be working right now.
What's your goals?
For the year.
Mhm.
So for the year, we want to reach 90K in monthly revenue. So by the time it's December.
And you're at 80 right now?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean,
So you're striving for a 12% increase by the end of the year?
I mean, we've got to fix, yeah, but we have some internal problems. So we had to rehire the entire team. So they're still getting ramped up. So that's going to be,
So it'll fluctuate.
yeah, it'll fluctuate. I mean, it's kind of volatile right now.
So more or less you want to do like 1 million in revenue, 1.1 in that range.
A year, yeah, for the year.
Sweet. The guilt is going to fuck with you tremendously. And then the not taking time off and then the must hit the goals is going to really fuck with you. That's what burned me out the most. I worked 16 plus hours every day for like the fucking first 2-3 years, and I would burn out every 2-3 months. And it was really unhealthy. I was in this rush to get to 100K a month, like 100K a month. This is this magical fucking number in my head. It was like the end of the year, 100K a month every year for like 3 years. And I never hit it in those years that I was like grinding. Meanwhile, also just like seeing other people go from like 0 to 100 in like 6 months, and that would just like fucking, I would be like furious, and that would make me feel like absolute shit because I would then compare myself, and that's just the worst game you can play is like me versus other people. But take a fucking week off, dude, and just chill out. I can't say it enough. I mean, like if you're already doing 80K a month or it's fluctuating and your margins are decent, I mean, what is the rush to 90 or like 1 million? You know, and here's the other thing, dude. The game that you should be playing is not like, how do I make the most money the soonest? While like, you know, feeling guilty if I don't work, etc. Like the game that you really should be playing is like, okay, if I wasn't going to work at all, like how could I get to 1 million and like leverage team and talents and systems? You're still probably going to work a lot. Like I still work a lot, but what I'm thinking about 24/7 is like, okay, with the time that I'm going to spend working on this agency, it's going to go into things that will like install systems into other people so that they can run it and manage it and grow it. Because at a certain scale, that's the only way to like keep growing, is to invest in the people who grow the business. And that's super chill because it's not like you're grinding on sales calls. You're not doing client service work, delivery work, etc. You're not doing these things that have like no 2, 3, 4 year half-life effects. If you're doing a sales call, there's no 2, 3, 4, 5 year half-life effect. It is literally done the moment that call ends, and that's it. And honestly, like it's good to do a lot of sales calls to where you get to like that mastery level, so then you can train it. But beyond that, if you're already at that really good level, then you shouldn't even be doing them, especially if you have $80,000 a month in revenue coming in to where you can hire people and train people. And then if you're dealing with churn, probably there's maybe cultural issues or something going on in terms of just like people leaving. That's stressful. We've had one person leave in 5 years. Like, I don't know. It was stressful losing that one person, but I couldn't imagine losing, 2, 3, 4 people every year. That'd be
What's
really
the culture inside your company?
It's fucking amazing, dude. I don't know. Like it's just really high vibe. Everybody's very similar in the sense that everybody likes like outdoors, pretty competitive. Like we just went to Mexico and rented this like beach house mansion. Everybody listens to like hip hop. We literally got there. Everybody arrived around 9:30 at night. It was like pitch black and there were some kayaks and they're like, yo, let's go for a fucking pitch black kayak send. And everybody's down. Everybody's like, yo, that's amazing. Let's do it. So like outside of work, it's just like super, I don't know, kind of like chill, like down for whatever and down to do some like exciting shit. kayak at night, go like snorkeling and like cliff diving or whatever. In the work environment, everybody's very much holds deeply in their heart like personal development, I would say, and does want to constantly be better and learn to grow, which is sweet because it's like in the Slack channel the other day, I was like, yo, my fucking WPM words per minute in typing was shit 2 years ago. It was 22 words per minute. And I've spent like 10 hours working on my typing and I'm at like 48 words per minute. And I'm like so much better. I feel like a ninja on the keyboard and everybody's like, oh my fucking God, let me take this typing class, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. It's really good vibes and everybody just gets along with each other, I guess you could say.
Got it. Yeah, that's interesting. So you guys do that like what, maybe twice a year?
We do a year-end retreat at the end of the year once, and then a mid-year meetup is more work focused, just like pulse on where we at, tracking for our goals. Our goal this year is to at least do 200K in MRR. I think we could do 250, but we're kind of keeping it realistic. But here's the other thing, dude. Like, yeah, take the week off. That's gonna be super important. If you can't take the week off, I mean, that's the number one thing that you should be working on is figuring out how you can. And then the other stuff is just chill out and like enjoy the journey, man. Because if you're burning out, you're not enjoying the journey that much. And that's what I realized about like 3-4 years ago was when I was burning out. I was just so fixated on the goals that then there came the stress and the anxiety and the guilt of like not working. And then the whole work itself kind of just fucking sucks. And I'm like, holy shit, here I am making like triple, quadruple, 100x what all my friends are back home, but like they're probably happier. Who's winning? Whoever's winning is the happiest motherfuckers, right? Like that's it. It's simply that. And so this is my 2 cents on the limited context that I have of your situation.
Got it, man. Interesting. Thanks.
Sweet, dude.
Feedback.
Everybody should take vacations at least once a quarter, ladies and gents. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Focus, let's see. Dan, what's your investment plan to grow your personal wealth? Or are you, Dan, you are unmuted.
Yeah, I was just curious to hear like what's your plan to grow your personal wealth, if it's sort of completely attached to the agency or whether you'll sort of like have other strategies that you're looking at growing, or are you just like going 100% all in and reinvesting into the agency yourself?
I don't really do too much with like investments or anything like this, like real estate or crypto or stocks or anything. There's some people in Better AMS that love that stuff, and they have 401ks and they're investing in mutual funds and they love crypto and stuff like this. And I just really enjoy building the agency, and it's a money machine. And so like, I want to keep building that money machine. And then with the salary that I get, I'm just stacking 20 to 25% of it aside cash, just like building a massive personal runway. I've never focused on personal runway for years, up until literally like 5 months ago. So I have like 9 grand in the bank personally. I've always been like broke personally, and the agency has all the cash, mainly just because I've always thought like, oh, the agency money is my money. But then like many discussions with like my partners and Destiny, like, no, you can't think of it like that. If you get sick, whatever, like we got to pay you enough so that you can build a personal runway. So yeah, I started saving recently and whatever. But aside from that, I just bought a house here in like Playa now. It has like the average house here has like a 40 to 50% occupancy rate, and it's like $250 a night. So I could probably rent it out. Like mortgage is like $1,600 a month. So could probably do real well if I wanted to do that, but I just don't want to. I really enjoy spending my time on the agency. If you have like an investment strategy for growing your personal wealth, it better be super simple, like putting 10% of all your salaries into mutual fund, whatever. Or yeah, like otherwise, if it's too complex, I don't want to do it. So I kind of just am stacking cash right now. I'm probably going to diversify some of it into crypto once I have enough cash, because I do think that that's a good thing, but nothing complicated at all.
Cool. Thanks.
Yep. Sweet. Vietnam, Tim, Seb. There are some new friends. Owner, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Anybody have questions? Make sure it's in the Roth IRA. Yes. Aaron, welcome, friend. We haven't talked in quite some time. There's some noise in here, so I won't be unmuting myself, but I have a question. Yeah, sure, go for it. Pedro, I should have recommended meditation daily in case you don't do that, but I think the vacation is going to be the big thing. I'm getting to that point of burnout. Haven't taken one in quite some time. I have a question, but can't speak. I just signed a first agency client, but it's outside the desired agency field, and I am currently working alone on the project, but I'm uncertain it was the right choice. What is your question, friend? Pedro, what's your website? I'm really curious to creep it while we're waiting on friends. I'm currently running an agency, finished time as a seller course a while ago. Helped a couple coaches and e-com stores with ads, but I don't focus on one single niche because I just love advertising and not just the e-com and coaching niche. Do you still think I should just focus on one? Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people say you should just focus on one niche and one niche and one niche. And I agree. I think once you find a good niche, you should focus on one niche. That's kind of like the issue is like, sometimes you go into a niche and it's not really, it's just difficult because it is actually very competitive. And so you probably are better to go into a different niche or Facebook ads iOS update. And like it's pretty much, it's gotten a lot harder and maybe you're just starting and so the barrier to entry is much more difficult. So it is sometimes better to pivot into something else. But I really do believe that you should stick with what you're curious about. If you really love marketing, cool, then you should be open to any platform like YouTube ads or Facebook or Google ads or anything of this nature. Anything Amazon advertising, like anything advertising related, probably going to be interesting to you. I was very much the same when I started. It was like, I love marketing. I just want to do some type of marketing online, whether it be for my own company or helping other people, with grow their companies. That's really exciting to me. And I kind of hopped around playing with like Facebook ads and then trying to do drop shipping and then eventually got into like, Amazon advertising, and that niche was a blue ocean and it worked out really well. So that's kind of just where I was. But look, I think my advice for you, if you're going to go into something market online, would be YouTube ads or Amazon advertising or like Google ads for a very, niche segment of the market. YouTube, you can be a lot broader. I think YouTube is somewhat of a blue ocean still. Amazon is a little bit more saturated and competitive. And Google AdWords is just fundamental, like legendary platform to utilize and still is heavily underutilized in my opinion for a lot of small companies or private companies or whatever. I was talking earlier about the private jet agency you weren't on I don't think you were here, but there was somebody who came to me who helps companies that sell private jets have a higher conversion rate on their website And it was really interesting because I mean that's just a very very niche niche. I mean it's like fucking blue ocean. I've never heard of anybody servicing private jets. Why? Well, how do you even get into that? How do you get to know somebody, etc.? And he happened to have a friend who was in the industry who ran a company that sold private jets, and the friend was like, yeah, sure, I'll let you do some stuff to my website and see if it helps. And it was tremendously helpful. And now he wants to scale it out to all the other jet companies and broke and structure a deal where he gets paid on a commission of the jet, which is interesting. Anyways, you can apply the second thing to this was that when I did research into this market, there really wasn't anybody running Google AdWords on specific model aircrafts. So there was several different models that were being sold, and I noticed if I searched it this model aircraft for sale, there would be no Google AdWords, no AdWords showing up. And I was like, what? I was like, this has to be a mistake. And I searched something more common, and then AdWords showed up. But there was multiple crafts that had no ads running on them. And I was kind of just okay, this is shocking. Does this mean that we can just get this for cents on the dollar? And that's kind of that's just the process of identifying blue oceans. This is kind of going through this weird market research stage where you're constantly just kind of looking at all the different markets in the world that there are, all the different companies. I mean, there's thousands and thousands, probably millions of different companies that sell different sorts of things. And if you have a basic understanding of advertising online, it's pretty easy to see if it is a blue ocean, especially with AdWords, because it's well, is there any ads being run? That's a pretty black or white thing that you can identify. Yeah, so that's probably my best response to that. Jet Tam, this whole live is recorded. Would you think of it as a good choice to fuel the agency's fund, or should we build a brand? You're unmuted if you would like to be. Jatam, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. You'll have to click unmute. I'm not sure if you want to be unmuted, but I'm not sure I understand your question. If you can give me more clarity, that'd be great. Oh, you're unable to speak. Okay. Yeah, I don't understand your question about choice fuel the agency's fund. Yeah, I'm INTJ as well. So you can fucking do it. It ain't that hard, man. It ain't that hard. I don't try not to identify with psychometric tests too much. I mean, really identifying with anything too much is a product of the ego. I am this, I am that, I am special here. This is my unique trait. It's all just this egotistical thing that's innately built within the lizard brain that we all have. So when you kind of just meditate a lot and be an observer of the self, it kind of allows you to better change that which you might be already. And you're just well, I need to make videos on YouTube. It's not so much of a problem if you're not super identified with I'm an introvert, I'm an INTJ. I hear people say this I'm Sagittarius, or I'm a Capricorn. That's sweet, but if the more you hammer that into your brain, the more you close off other opportunities, because now you're going to feel super uncomfortable making videos, when if you just did that, maybe it would help you scale or open up these doors, etc. So yeah, careful with those things is all I'll say. Do you have YouTube ad agencies create the videos? No, I just do all the videos myself. If that was your question, sorry. Friends, if there's any final questions, I will probably hop off in 5 minutes, go eat lunch. Cool. Enjoy dinner, friend. It's great to see you. Aaron, I know you're just listening, but what up with you, dude? I'm curious to know how you been. How's the agency? Sorry, I'll let you unmute if you're available to speak. If not, that's fine.
What up?
What up, dude?
What's good, man? Just over here cleaning the apartment. Just hanging out, man. Oh yeah, let me show my video. There we go. What's good, man? What are you eating?
Steak and beans.
Oh yeah, did Nicole make that, or is that like pre-made food, prepared?
Did
meal
you just
prep?
ask me if Nicole made that?
Yeah.
One, Nicole can't cook. Two, Nicole and I aren't together. Three, yeah, dude, I've almost always had a chef, and so
Oh.
yeah, man.
Wait. So I thought you just moved right into a house.
Yeah,
So just you there?
yeah.
You and the
She's
cats?
actually coming next week on Wednesday, but she's
Oh,
just
cool.
coming for like 3-4 weeks because she needs to get some stuff sorted so that she can travel other places, and she's gonna get it done here in Panama. And I haven't seen her in a
Cool.
while, so yeah.
Cool. How's buying a house and doing that while still running the agency?
Well, it was a lot buying the house in general. That was insane. Going from being in a relationship to being single when I was pretty certain that I wasn't gonna ever be in a relationship or be like single again, at least for a long time, until obviously the final couple months where we had a lot of discussions about it. Was it took me a couple months to get used to it and like really kind of like adapt. It wasn't that like it was this intense like breakup. It was actually this mutual decision that was really great, and like we still talk like every other day and whatnot. But it was this knowingness that like I have a lot of stuff to work on that it's just not gonna come up if I'm in a relationship with you, and her the same. She had a lot of stuff that she wanted to do and experience that wouldn't have been possible in a relationship. And so the number one thing that came up for me that I had to deal with was probably just like loneliness and being comfortable with like being by myself, and also just like being comfortable making new friends and like talking to strangers and like going completely out of my comfort zone. So that's been what I've been kind of adapting to, overcoming, getting normalized to.
Yeah. What has it been like buying the house and taking over that whole thing, like as far as like distractions and having the agency?
I mean, it's almost done. Like, yeah, it was a lot of work just like at the house time, but I tried to leverage as much human labor as possible to help through the process. Like I hired a designer to design the house, so I didn't have to deal with any of the logistics of like, stuff like that. And that was actually pretty cost effective. Like it was like, I don't know, $4,000, $5,000 for her fee to do that. When in reality, it was like so much time and like,
heck yeah,
would have taken so much time, and the house would have looked like ass if I did it. And the other stuff was I hired like a mortgage broker to deal with the communication between the bank and whatnot for securing the loan and getting the best rate possible.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah, it still took a good amount of time, but like it wasn't that bad. I think because that was going on and I was transitioning to being single, it was like it was a lot. But if it was just the house, I would say totally fine.
Really? Okay, because I'm renting right now, and I got Astro over here. So, dude, it's like I gotta walk this dog 3 times a day for at least a half hour for him to like survive. So it's like, man, like I just want to have a yard to just let him out. You know what I'm saying? It'd be so much easier. It'd be so much easier. So I've been looking at buying property when my lease is over, and I have time. I have like 6 months, but I've been diving deep into real estate investing on my spare time. And I'm just kind of nervous because, at the end of the day, my main goal is to grow my business. But at the same time, I want to make that step. And, that's like an extra $3,000 a month I'm putting towards rent that I could be putting towards some type of better investment to grow my
Yeah.
wealth. Yeah. So that's why I'm really curious how you did it, because I know that, you try to minimize distractions and your number one focus is on your business. So really want to get your perspective on that. But I'm glad you said mortgage broker. I didn't even think about that. That's like the next biggest challenge is getting pre-approved and dealing with all those interest rates and all that. And I didn't even think about a mortgage broker. I didn't even know that they existed. So I'm going to look into that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty hefty fee. They charged, it came to like 4.5K because it was a percentage of the loan given. And I think the loan amount was like, I don't know what it was, but the whole fee, I think it was like 2% or something like this, 1.5%. No, it was more than that because it was 4.5K. And I think the loan was like 200 grand, 150 grand. So yeah.
That's so worth it because I mean, the wrong mortgage could cost you at least $50,000, in the long run.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Plus the communication with the banks here is fucking insane. I mean, this is
I bet.
Panama, so nothing gets done. Dude, it took I committed to buying this house 7 months ago. I gave them the deposit. I moved in December 9th. It took them 6 months just to be able to get me to move in here. And the wire transfer for the funds bounced. Like that's how shit, how much of a shit show it was. It got sent to Israel and then lost. And then unfortunately came back. It was the most insane shit. I was like,
oh my gosh. That's horrible. Gosh. Yeah, I'm like really kind of I looked at 2 houses this past week and I was like kind of nervous because I'm like, man, if it goes through with some of the contingencies, then that means I'm gonna have to rush things and hurry up and buy it. But they didn't go through because I couldn't rent them out in the future. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna buy it. All right, good. I have some more time. I don't have to deal with it right now. It's just a lot.
What, in Chicago?
No, I was actually looking it's a half hour southeast of Chicago. It's Northwest Indiana. It's where I grew up. It's like where all my family's at. That's where I'm looking.
Okay, that's where you want to be at.
Yeah, all my family's over there. So I'd much rather be over there than in Chicago.
You don't want to like bomb off to the middle of nowhere in some different country?
That's a really good question because I think about like at the end of the day, like what makes me truly happy and what brings me closer to like God. And at the end of the day, it's family, it's family for sure. Like when I think about like my best moments ever, my best memories, it's always like with like my grandpa or like my cousins, just like hanging out, playing games, doing whatever.
Yeah.
And it's never like we have like a fucking awesome view like this or something like that. It's never that. It's always just who you're with, right? So I mean, vacations are great. Like I can go on vacation and taste that stuff, but where I want to spend the 80% of my time is more around that thing that makes me happy.
That's great, dude. That's lit that you identified that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been working with my therapist a lot about that. And he's just been telling me like, I got to optimize more towards growing my family, being more with family. And so it's like, whenever it comes to like big decisions that I'm about to make, like, should I go to London for that seller sessions event and stuff like that? It's like, okay, well, does this move me closer towards that goal?
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's sweet. Yeah, dude, I don't think it'll be too bad if you outsource it as much as possible. I couldn't imagine. I think the designing would be the most insanely like time consuming thing.
So oh, go ahead.
No, that's it.
That 4,500, that included the actual furniture and stuff?
No. That was just like more or less her fee out of everything. I spent probably 20,000 on furniture and everything else, and then the whole thing came to about. Wait, was it 25? I don't know. Maybe it was either 20 or 25 total. Yeah. And her fee was 4 to 5. So either 15 or 20 on furniture.
Damn. Yeah, no, when I got this apartment, I spent a lot of time dealing with interior designing, like way more than what I wanted to. So that's a good idea.
Yeah. The other thing, dude, is if you buy something, I mean, like I've never bought something. So like all the houses, the apartments that I rented, it was just like, I don't care. Like, I'm like, I don't own this place. I'll make it decent, but am I gonna like invest in really good furniture and shit like this? Like, nah, I got a really good mattress and like good office equipment. That's all I need. But after living with nothing in the house for whatever it was, 2-3 months, because I thought we were going to move into this house a lot sooner than we actually did. And so I sold everything and the house was empty. I realized like, wow, okay, it is actually really nice to have like a fucking nice couch or like a place to sit when friends come over, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And so I saw her house that she designed herself for her own house and some other clients. And I was just like, there's no way I could ever design something like this. And for $4,000, I was like, this is insane. So yeah, I think it's great to have a designer because you don't have to worry about everything and it's like so perfect and you love it. It's your home. It's like you're gonna be there for a long time. You better love like every aspect of it.
So is this like your like kind of, you know, somewhat of like a dream home where you plan on being for like at least 5 to 10 years?
I think 5-10 years, yeah, definitely. A
Nice.
dream home, I mean, like not like a dream home, but like the whole like home dream home thing also kind of, I don't know, has somewhat faded. I wouldn't mind a bigger house, but like I'm super happy in this house and it's tiny, you know?
Mm.
So like why would I need a bigger house? I really don't. It would just be for, I don't know, for the sake of having it. Like
That's wicked, dude. I'm happy for you. I'm really glad that, that you're in like a really good spot right now.
yeah, well, everybody, well, transmuting stuff. Definitely like a lot more personal growth being single than being in a relationship, at least right now in this stage. In the early stages of the relationship, there was tremendous growth as well, but towards the end, it was the realization that it would be more growth if I was single and on her end as well. So it was a painful first few months, and now it's gotten a lot better. Yeah.
Cool, man. That's awesome.
But agency's good.
Agency, yeah. I mean, so my goal for the year was to go from, I think it was like in 2021, in January 2021, I think I was around like 15, 16 revenue per month. And my goal was to get to 35 and then hire someone. And in December, I hit 33, 34.
Woo.
Yeah, so I was like super excited because I was getting closer to towards my goal, and then maybe like but maybe a couple months before that, I kind of thought differently about how I wanted to grow my agency, because I knew that if I hired an account executive, I would have to hit sales calls really hard again, and grow as fast as I could. Because I didn't want because I didn't want to like I needed to fill that account executive with a portfolio, and then I wouldn't just want to have one account executive because what if they leave? I would want to have multiple ones. So I could see the next year or so really hitting the pedal to the metal with sales, which is fine. But over the past 6 months, I really started to like my day-to-day balance, spending a lot of time with family, meditating, growing in other areas that I wanted to, and not having the pressure to go with my business so much.
Yeah.
So because of that, I've really looked at like my portfolio clients, and I've seen like some clients, you know, pay me low 2,000. Some of them pay me 6,000. And so it's like, okay, well, right now I'm able to manage 12 clients. So why not get better at increasing my retainers and grow my monthly recurring revenue, just me right now, improve my processes. And then once I get to that point, then start considering bringing someone else on board, because then my profit margins are going to be way bigger than what they are now.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been focusing on, increasing my retainers. I lost like, I think like 2 accounts. So my revenue dropped back down by 25, but that's fine. So right now I'm just focusing on increasing the retainers while still not losing what I have now, which is that time to maintain balance and everything else that I enjoy in life so that I don't burn out.
Sweet, that's great, dude. But you would still plan, so it sounds like you still would plan to hire somebody when the time comes. Like if you were, borderline pushing 40K, you'd probably have to, right? Because if somebody knocks on the door and they're like, hey, I want to work with you, and it's a $5,000 retainer, but you're maxed out, you're going to make the decision to hire somebody, or you're just going to start turning away people.
I don't know. I'm curious about that because by the end of the year, I want to hit 50 now, and that's just 10 accounts, $5,000 each. So when I get to that point, I'm considering creating something different from my business where it's more like a boutique agency, right? Where I only take on a limited amount of accounts. There's like a waiting list and it's all profit sharing. So once I get to that point, I'm considering maybe not hiring like a traditional account executive that takes on their own account, but maybe more of like an account assistant where I can maintain like the main primary communications. Like I just jump on the client calls once a month and they so more do like the day-to-day type of management. That's the way Sean and I shared one account. We've been sharing it for the past year. We just stopped working together on it because Sean wanted to take over the account himself. But it was a really nice relationship that I had seen that Sean created from that because I was managing the entire account, but he would just jump on the calls just to kind of build rapport. And I love that. Like he didn't have to keep a pulse too much on the accounts. He just knew high level strategy and just maintain that relationship on the actual calls. So something like that I think would be really nice. I think it would kind of be aligned with my goal of staying balanced and that sort of thing, while still being able to take on, bigger retainers, maybe a few more accounts if I have someone helping me. So yeah, I think when I get to 50 that I will hire someone, but may not be the traditional account executive.
Word. Yeah, that's really interesting.
I think I can manage that for the next, I think I would enjoy that dynamic for at least 3 years, 2 or 3 years, and then from there.
You currently have 10 accounts or 8 accounts?
10 accounts. Now 10 accounts.
At 25. Okay. So 2.5 average.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to get to 10 at 5. So you plan on trying to increase retainers of existing accounts, or like, because I can't imagine you doing, so if you sign 5 more at 5, then you'd be at 15 and you'd be at 50K. So if you sign 5K per month clients in the next whatever week, you'd be at 15 accounts. And I feel like, yeah, at that point, that'd be a lot of communication.
Yeah. By myself, I don't know if I could take on 15 by myself without an assistant. But I could definitely take on 12. So in December, I had 12. And I was already thinking, okay, now whenever a new client approaches, I could definitely shoot for at least 4K retainers. And I was starting to look at my portfolio and being like, okay, I have some legacy accounts that I need to either increase those retainers or just let them go.
Yeah.
So that's what I'll do the next time I get back up there. Because like I said, yeah.
Yeah. That's the classic kind of like process that everybody goes through when they start scaling up and realizing they want to get higher retainers, either increase or have to let go.
Yeah. I like the idea of focusing on increasing retainers rather than maintaining retainers and also quoting the same level of retainers and hiring an account executive to take on more of those lower retainers.
And what's the 5-year vision? Like, are you wanting to keep this forever and cash cow it? Are you wanting to sell it eventually? Or
I always envisioned that I'm like long-term for the agency, I'm more of an advisor rather than day-to-day. So yeah. I I haven't planned out when exactly I'm going to put those pieces in place because I'm still figuring things out, right? Like I just figured out I should increase retainers, not go the other routes of growing the agency. So like little things like that, I think I'm very flexible on. But long term, I definitely want to just be more of an advisor to the agency. I don't think I'll ever sell the agency because I like a service-based business that makes me really happy. And I've always loved advertising. So I think I'll always enjoy having it, especially when I can start bringing on some of like my family members inside of the business or people that like I love or close to me, bringing them into certain roles, like how kind of George Marissa does.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Word. Yeah, I think that's great. I'd be really curious to know when you hire somebody and who you hire, how you hire them. I'd be really curious to know how that goes. I feel like you're gonna really enjoy it and you're gonna want to hire more people sooner.
So?
Once you've hired one person that, well, assuming that person's somebody you really enjoy working with, and likewise they enjoy working with you, and you kind of feel that fulfillment of providing a great work environment for somebody. And it's rare that like somebody enjoys their work, you know? So it's so cool to just see people really liking their job and being like, I love it here. And then like explaining that to you and you can just feel it. So I think you'll probably really like it. Plus, if you want to be an advisor, I mean, it'll get there eventually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, I mean, I am yearning for that type of like mentorship role, like me mentoring.
Yeah.
Like it recharges me whenever like I talk to other people in that mentor role. So having someone that I could actually like, that's like my role, like that's like my job to do that for them. Yeah. I'm really excited for that for sure. Yeah, so yeah, one day for sure. I'll keep you posted on it.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, it sounds like you got a pretty clear vision, and you'll probably be stacking up some solid runway right now. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, pretty good runway. Trying to figure out how to make a portion of the runway work for me, you know, like investment wise.
Well, that's where I'm kind of like, you should hire someone because that's where I'm like, you're growing and it's like, but at the same time, it's the personal preference of the balance and you enjoy that. And so that's where I'm trying to just like, I'm like, fuck, that's where we're different. That's where you're like, no, I'm happy with this balance and I want to keep going at this rate and then hire somebody when I really have margins. But in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, if you're pushing 30K and you're managing it solo with some VAs, I'm like, dude, that is I couldn't imagine pushing up 45 and then hiring somebody like that's wild. That's really cool if you push it that. That's really cool.
Yeah,
I think,
dude.
Yeah, I only got to like 36.
Really? All right, that's my new goal. I'm gonna hit you up when I pass that because yeah, dude, honestly, I'm seeing the accounts that pay me 6. I'm seeing the accounts that pay me 500 legacy. And I'm like, dude, okay, man, no, that's not a good example. The ones that pay me like 2,000. It's the same amount of work. Same amount of work. It's just I negotiated the contract better in the beginning. And
yeah.
And I'm managing the account. I'm managing the account the same actually. Like both of them look at me like they'll follow all of my advice and I've been helping them grow. So it was really just like the sales process. The sales process really set me up for success with that. So if I'm putting in the same time, each account, then I think it's definitely doable.
Yeah. It is 100%. Yeah. If you get the retainer up high enough, 100% you can do it. I think for me, I struggled with getting it up to, $5,000-$6,000 a month with 10 accounts. And then I was never able, I never had the mindset of able to let go of the small accounts at that time. but if you're open to that and you have that mindset 100%, you could do it. And that'd be wild. You'd probably be, yeah, dude, that'd be wild. 50K with some VAs, people. I mean, I'm assuming salaries in the Philippines, right? Like 1 to 1.5-ish in that range, sub 1. Is that how much you're average paying your team in the Philippines?
1,000.
1,000 to 1,500 a month, or are you paying them more?
It depends. It depends the type of VA. Like Daryl, I mean, it's by hour based on project.
Yeah.
But it'll probably equate to that. But some of them, they're not automation specialists. And so it's like one of them I'm paying, I think it's 700, and the other one's almost 900.
Yeah. That's kind of where we're at too. We have 1,000. Yeah, that'll be wild, dude. You'll be stacking cash.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'll keep you posted.
Sweet. Well, I appreciate you giving me the update, dude.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for asking. And thanks for calling that one time. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I, for some reason, thought you wanted to come on. I wanted to make sure you didn't miss.
All right, Pratash, I'll let you get back to it.
All right. Much love, dude.
All right, see ya.
Ciao. Friends, if there's any other questions, please let me know. And I'm gonna hop. Oh, all right. Last question goes to you, friend.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. I just had a question. I'm like in the earlier phase of my agency. I've been following your content. It's been helping me a lot. I think the Trojan horse strategy is probably one of the most like cunning strategy. And I've already developed the video and contacted VAs. I'm gonna start sending out emails next week at the end of this week, Monday.
Okay.
I just had a question about how important you think it is to be in a blue market niche, a blue ocean.
Blue ocean. Yeah. I talked to somebody about this earlier prior to you being on it. I don't think you heard it, right? In the first 20
Oh,
minutes.
I just hopped on. No.
That's what I thought. Like the thing I was telling the other person is they sent out like 250 videos and they got 3 calls booked, or 3 responses and 1 call booked. And they were specifically targeting e-com clothing brands, and they were offering Facebook ads as a service to help them scale. And he was kind of like, should I switch niches, whatever? And I said, well, look, you have like in that niche, I would say a 0.5% like call booking rate is probably expected, because it is highly competitive. I mean, every how to start an agency course is pitching Facebook ads and helping some type of e-com. And like the first thing that comes to mind when you think of just like a list of types of things, services you can offer and markets you can help is like clothing brands, Facebook ads. Like it's just like a really obvious one. So it is quite, I would say, saturated probably. And with saturation, there's still opportunity. It's just that you should expect lower call booking rates. And so he was saying like, oh, I could just scale up. So if I should only expect 0.5% call booking rates, that's fine. Then I can send 1,000, cold emails and get 5 calls booked. And I said, yeah, you could do that, or you could just invest more time into finding a blue ocean. You'll probably get a 5% call booking rate, but it might take you a month or 2 to find a blue ocean. And it depends on, you know what I mean? It's like kind of finding that balance of like, okay, I can start today in a very obvious niche with a very obvious service offering and get a really low call booking rate. But if I'm okay with that, sweet, I'll get started. I'll get the ball rolling. Maybe I'll sign a client after a month or 2 of like sending cold emails. It might take me 1,000, might take me 2,000. Or if I want to just position myself a little bit better in the market for less work to get clients, I'm gonna chill out. I'm gonna take like 2 steps back. I'm gonna take like 2 months, maybe 3 months to just identify markets and try to find something that is more of a blue ocean, right? But the problem is with identifying blue oceans is you still have to do the work of like actually getting market feedback, right? So you're gonna have to still send THMs, Trojan horse videos, or like some type of cold email or something, in general, just to identify if it is a good market. And I think that the sample size that you should use is like at least like I would say at least 500 in terms of like, if you have a hypothesis that this market of let's say like really expensive generators, people that sell generators, like really expensive equipment, whatever, tractors, generators, any type of like construction equipment that's like $5,000-$10,000 plus, needs Google AdWords as a service. Find 500 of those companies, send them an email and or some type of cold outreach, and like depending on your response rate, you gauge if it's a blue ocean or not. So the metrics that I would utilize is like, 1% is a very standard like
1% call booking rate
is like very, very like standard and basic. Less than 1%, like 0.5%, it's pretty saturated. It's a pretty difficult market.
You said less than 5%? I mean,
Less than 1%. 1% is somewhere around 1% is very average. And that's it's probably a pretty competitive market. 2% plus, you're in a better market, like 2-3% in that range, somewhere between there. That's pretty solid. I mean, that's good. I think that if you get anywhere near that, that's fine. Keep it. But there's just some cases where it's like ungodly, and you'll see like 5 to 10% call booking rates, and that's obscene. I mean, that's what it was like for me when I started my agency. 1 out of 10 people I'd reach out to on LinkedIn with a basic message like, "Hey, da, 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 da." If you saw the video I made recently about Blue Ocean, what it looks like, that's what it looks like. 1 in every 10 messages, you get interest, and they're like, "Oh, sweet, let's talk." So you don't even need to send videos in those types of markets. You should literally just send a really basic message like that. Video is overkill. So yeah, that would be my kind of advice: is identify markets and test them out quickly.
Thanks a lot. So like next week, I'm gonna start sending out my emails. I'm gonna have to so I'm working in the dental niche, right? It's SEO. So I'm pretty sure it's not I mean, I know it's not I know the thing is, I haven't seen like too many like websites that advertise that they're specifically doing SEO for like some like dental firms or medical firms specifically. So I'm not sure how much of a blue ocean it is. So I'm just gonna have to run the numbers and find it out myself. That's my plan. But the question, I was initially hesitant about it because I just didn't know how you can like scale with something that's so niche in terms of like building like a really like large agency.
How big is really large?
Okay, I would say like over 10 million revenue.
Where are you at right now?
I'm at 0.
So why are you thinking about 10 million? Do you want to get, do you need $10 million a year?
No, it's not even for that. It's not like it's a selfish reason. It's more so I just want to build something that has the ability to become as large as it possibly can.
Look, I get that. And here's where you can wrap your head around it. A micro niche, okay, I'm talking micro, is one in which you can enter the niche. Maybe you can't go further than like $50,000 a month, but you can get there pretty quickly because it's such a small niche and it's a blue ocean because nobody's really touching it, right? That's the point. And once you get there, you hop out of that little blue ocean, you hop into a new one that's parallel to whatever else you were doing. Because oftentimes it's not the service that changes, it's the market and the ICP. It's the buyer persona. It's the avatar. You know what I mean? It's not like, okay, I'm doing Amazon advertising and I got to $50,000 a month helping only beauty brands. Well, I can't go any further. It's like, no, yeah, I can. There's 6,000 other categories on Amazon that I can service to. And it's the exact same service. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So like if you did, let's say Facebook ads, I don't know, man, think of like the most micro niche thing possible where there's like, oh, this is it. I talked about earlier, private jets. There's like 50 companies in America that are like selling enough jets or 100 or something like this that sell like really high ticket jets or maybe it was 1,000. I don't know, but it's so small, the market. You can find every single potential client in probably a month or a two with some VAs helping you, so you can get them all in a Google Sheet. Right? There's only 1,000. That's a good example of a micro niche, but you could probably get to $250,000 a month. You could probably get to $100,000 a month servicing these firms that sell private jets. And whatever, you can do Google ads for them, you can do Facebook ads for them, you can do web design for them. It doesn't matter. The point is when you feel like you've capped the market, now you got a ton of fucking money because you probably got to $50,000 a month, $100,000 a month, whatever it is, or even if you only got to $25,000 a month, you're making money. And now you have resources to deploy, to hire people, to enter a new market. Now you don't even really need to enter a blue ocean because you got some money. Like that's the other thing is like when you have no cash, I do recommend you go into a blue ocean because it's difficult to enter a red ocean when when you have no cash. If you have $1 million, of course you can compete and become a shark in a bloodbath of an ocean. You're starting with $1 million, right? So yeah,
I see what you're saying.
that's why it's totally fine to just think of it. If it only has potential to get to $50,000 a month, that's okay. If it's a blue ocean, you can probably get there pretty quickly. Better than being in a red ocean.
That actually makes sense because I saw recently, I was like doing research on like competitors, and I saw like there was an SEO company. They were doing like specific, they were specific for like the landscaping area. They had different services for like yard work and different like very specific like activities. But I imagine that they probably started with one and then they grew into just encompassing the entire landscaping realm. So
yeah,
I can see where you're coming from. Okay.
Also, just dude, SEO for dentists probably pretty competitive. I would say probably expect a 1% callback rate,
1%.
something in that range. The other thing, dude, is like, how deep did you really think about finding a niche before you concluded on SEO for dentists? Like, how much thought went into it?
I wouldn't say over like 5 hours.
So this is that's the average, right? Like most people, 3, 4, 5 hours. All right, this is my niche, and it's Facebook ads for clothing brands, or it's SEO for dentists. And that's the conclusion that you've come to because you've really scratched the surface. You haven't gone deep. You know what I mean? So I recommend that you go deep. I recommend you spend 100 hours literally researching all the different niches and markets and types of companies there are. The first thing you do, in my opinion, is identify the service that you want to offer, and just a general thing, right? So if you really like marketing, cool, I love marketing. Well, what does marketing mean? Well, there's Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Bing ads, Google ads, like Quora ads. There's lots of different ad platforms that you can utilize. And then you ask yourself the question, who could I leverage these platforms for? And you kind of build it in this like tree, like in a diagram where you branch off, like YouTube ads. Who's the number one people that could leverage from YouTube ads? And you just brain dump like as many as you can. And then you go to Facebook, and then you go to the other one, and then you go to the next one, right? And then you start to go deeper. So if you said like, whatever, who can benefit from YouTube ads, and you thought of someone, there's certain levels to it, right? There's dimensions to it. If you watch the video I made where I talk about like the dimensions to niches, I mean, you can be a personal trainer. You can be a personal trainer for women. You can be a personal trainer for men. You can be a personal trainer for women that are pregnant. You can be a personal trainer for men that are this, and you can start to segment it down. So I would totally spend way more time surveying the market before you enter that one. And then dude, just comment on a YouTube video and let me know what you're thinking after you've done
For
research.
sure. For sure. I mean, right now, so what do you think I should do about the whole dental niche right now? Because I already have the Trojan horse video prepared and everything, and I have like VAs are already about to develop.
If you've already hired VAs, go for it. Get some reps in.
It doesn't hurt to try.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter. Like it's good that you're going through the motions, because you're gonna have to do this again with whatever niche you identify, right?
Yeah.
If this doesn't work out, or you want to pivot, you'll need to do it. Or if it does work out, sweet. It doesn't matter. You might lose a little bit of energy in terms of like financial resources, but I imagine it won't be more than like a few $100s or something like this.
That's nothing. I'm not tripping about that.
Yeah, so it's like, sweet, just get the reps in. You're taking action. That's sweet. Build the momentum. Don't be like demotivated by the fact that if it doesn't work out. But the fact that you're doing it and you're building the systems and you're taking action, you're getting the videos sent out. I mean, that's huge. But in the side, because you're probably gonna have a good amount of downtime, I would still survey the markets and think deeper about really.
I'm still in school right now. I'm in university, so
Okay.
but I'm definitely gonna have to put in more time then, just in case
Yeah.
things don't work out. Okay. All right. I appreciate the help. Your videos are really helpful.
Sweet, dude. I appreciate the feedback.
Mhm. Yeah, I'll definitely keep you posted.
Let me know.
And is agency on Lighten ever coming back?
Agency Enlightened, yes, dude. I mean, like, there's already quite a few program agency owners in it. Aaron, who was just talking, is in the program when I originally launched it. I think it was called Legion Enlightened. But yeah, dude, I'm planning to actually probably launch it this month. I was hoping I'd be able to launch it at the beginning of this month, but it's not for beginners, dude. You should be doing at least 10K a month if you're going to join it. So
All right, I'll just have to wait. Okay.
my YouTube channel is for beginners mostly.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, man. Appreciate the help.
All right, dude. Much love. Ladies and gents, that's it for today's call. Thank you all for coming on, and I'll post the recording to YouTube. This was epic, you guys. Thank you.